All right, ladies and gentlemen, live pictures right now. Multiple agencies on scene down here of this mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio. We're at the intersection of Wayne and 5th. You can see multiple people are out here being interviewed by police right now. This is the intersection of Wayne and 5th. You've got multiple police agencies here on scene. I see Ketterington, Highway Patrol, multiple others. You can see they've got the tape up here that's keeping the media back. We're back. Looks like there's a media staging area over here. We're actually going to move down over here so we can be closer to the media. Get at least one person here. A couple people being walked by police. We're going to make our way down here to the media staging area. We're going to be a little closer with the rest of the media. You see this area, it's just got dozens and dozens and dozens of law enforcement from every jurisdiction within a 10 to 15 mile radius. I was talking with some people from some local hospitals on the way down here, and they were telling me that they had people actually walking in as far south as Kettering with injuries from this mass shooting incident. We know that at least CPR is being conducted, or was being conducted, on at least 3 people. We just, as we were pulling up to the scene here about 10 minutes ago, we heard some reports on the police radio that they were still looking for a masked gunman carrying several magazines as well as a rifle, believed to be an AK-47 or an AR-15. He is wearing a mask. He was described as a heavyset, large white male. We're at the intersection here of 5th and Wayne. This is known as the Oregon District here in Dayton. It's a very popular place for nightlife. We're going to go over here and see if we can get maybe some eyewitnesses here. It's a very sensitive situation out here, so I doubt... Okay, you can see here, here's a police officer walking with a rifle. As I was saying, it's a very sensitive scene out here. It's going to be very difficult for us to get any eyewitnesses to talk to us because of the sensitive nature of this scene. Everyone's very emotional. We hear people shouting. A couple of guys over my shoulder here were shouting about the rifle that the guy was using and how he's still on the loose and how they hadn't found him. That's unconfirmed reports at this time. You can see here, police are still standing around the area interviewing witnesses. You can see multiple personnel from EMS and fire standing there. We'll just do a quick scene setter for you here. The avenues of East 5th Street and Wayne Avenue in Dayton. Police are taking witnesses right now. They are taking them to a secure area where they can interview them. You can see one was just released there from being interviewed by that officer. Other witnesses are still in the area here. You can see we've got at least one person being checked out there with his pants leg up. He's being checked out by EMS. It looks like he actually might be an EMS. No, he's a staff. Okay, so this is apparently a club worker. He says staff on the back of his shirt. He has a leg injury. He's being checked out right now by EMS. You see, this is live pictures here of the reported active shooter situation in Dayton, Ohio. See at least one person there with an apparent leg injury being checked out by EMS personnel at this time. We saw just a few moments ago, we saw at least one officer walking through here with a rifle on his back. You've got more officers walking into the scene here. You can see these officers right here just crossed into the yellow line. They're headed in. We, the media, and the rest of the general public are being held back by this typical police crime scene tape that you see. They got the whole entire intersection blocked off here. We're still trying to learn at this time where the official center point of this scene is. We don't know the official actual location of where this started. The people you see standing around in the black and the blue, for the most part, are EMS. You've got a couple of police officers. Still at least one guy being checked out right there. Live pictures. Unknown what his injuries are and to what extent. We were talking to some local hospitals on the way down here. They were telling me that they had multiple patients walked in and also brought in by ambulance, and that they are calling in extra personnel and staff as far as Kettering Hospital, Miami Valley. All those hospitals have multiple patients. Okay, they've got... Okay, we can hear over the radio right now that at least one victim is making their way up this area right now to get checked out. No new information at this time. You can see they're getting ready to load this guy here. At least one victim. Unknown what his injuries are. We're going to watch this unfold live. These are live pictures from the mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio. We have at least one person with apparent injuries to his leg. He's being loaded up onto a gurney right now. You're going to see him get loaded up on this gurney, and then they're going to put him in the back of that ambulance, which you see those white lights right here above your screen right there. It's going to be loaded into the back of that ambulance, and he's going to be taken to an area hospital. We were on the phone with hospital officials on the way here as this was all unfolding. They said they had multiple patients being bussed in and walk-ins. This guy is one of them being taken away live right here. Let's just watch this for a moment. One person being loaded into the back of that ambulance. Multiple patients still out here at the scene. Police and personnel from the fire department, EMS, are still out here assessing this situation right now. Patients, as you can see, it's a still very active scene. We are at the intersections of 5th and Wayne, which is known as the Oregon District. Unknown at this time. Police have not made any official release any comment on if a shooter is in custody, if a shooter has been killed. No information being confirmed by police at this hour. What we do know, however, is that when we were arriving on scene just a few minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago now, that police were still reporting to other neighboring jurisdictions that the gunman was a heavyset white man wearing a mask, described as carrying a rifle with multiple magazines. That again was about 25 minutes ago. Unknown if that person, that suspect, when it came over the radio about 25 minutes ago, was still at large. See, we saw this patient being loaded up live just a few minutes ago. He's now being backed up into the back of this ambulance. He's going to be rushed to a local hospital. Police here, they've got the tape down. He's going to be taken out of here. And off to the hospital he goes, ladies and gentlemen. That's at least one victim that we've watched tonight, of many, at least according to preliminary reports, 10 people shot. CPR was in progress with at least 3 people, according to EMS personnel that we spoke to right before we arrived on scene. We are at the intersections of 5th and Wayne in Dayton. This one has the Oregon District. See, these are detectives here. We're actually going to go over here, and they're going to go over here, ladies and gentlemen, and on the other side of this tape here in this parking lot to this local whiskey bar. They're going to interview witnesses. So over here is a parking lot where police have corralled multiple witnesses. Detectives you just saw moments ago walk over there to start interviewing these witnesses. Police, of course, are talking with multiple people. Okay, we have the Dayton Police Mobile Command Unit RV bus rolling up to the scene right now. That is indication that they are going to be out here for many hours, possibly a few days, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that bus pulling up right there as they conducted an investigation. See that bus right there? It's that one right there. It's the Dayton Police Mobile Command Post. It's rolling up to the scene. That is a good indication that this is going to be an investigation that goes on for a very long time. You can see here, just get on the other side here of these lights, try to get a better focus for you guys. Can you guys tell us what you saw down there? Are you guys, all of you guys appear to be okay? All right, so those were some local club workers. They didn't want to talk there vividly. You could tell they were emotional. You could see the look on their face. They were just in shock, I would imagine. They didn't have anything to say to us. They didn't know what to say to us. They were just taken over to the parking lot over there where police are corralling potential witnesses as they interview and break it down. We really do not know at this time where the actual center point of this crime scene actually originated from, but we do know that we're at 5th and Wayne. We also know that a lot of activity is happening just down the street here where we saw those club employees walk from. Okay, you can see the command post here. It's getting into position right there where those witnesses are being corralled. You can see that command post I showed you guys just a few minutes ago. It's getting into position now. Just do a quick, for those of you just now joining us, we'll do a quick scene setter, and then we're going to reposition to the other side here. We're at the intersections of 5th and Wayne in Dayton, where reported mass shooting came in just a little over an hour and a half, almost 2 hours ago. This is the Oregon District, which is a very popular club district on the weekends. The initial preliminary reports were that 10 people were shot. At least 3 people, according to EMS personnel I spoke to on the way here, were undergoing CPR. We spoke to local hospitals who said that they had multiple victims coming in by ambulance as far as 15 miles away from here. Some were also walking in by private vehicles, and it's a very good indication based on everything that we see out here that this investigation is going to take a very long time. All right, we're going to reposition for you guys, and then try to get a little bit more new information. You can see these people here. These are people. They're vividly shaken up. You can see they're distraught. We saw at least one person live here on Twitter being taken out by an ambulance for leg injuries. That was just the one we saw. At least dozens of others have been bused or driven to local hospitals. You can see you've got the Metro Parks Rangers are here. And we're just repositioning on the other side of this scene here so we can get you a different view. At this time, you have some investigative vehicles going to the scene down there. So we just repositioned on the other side here so you guys can get a different view. You can see those are paramedics. There's a couple of police officers mixed in there, but for the most part, those are all paramedics, firefighters. We saw at least one person brought up here with leg injury and was taken out of here to a local hospital for those injuries. You can see the line of fire trucks down Wayne. Some of those are ambulances. Again, this is in Dayton, Ohio, where reported mass shooting with multiple victims happened just about 2 hours ago. It's a very active scene right now. Police do have the tape up in the area. We are not able to go any closer here. We are at 5th and Wayne. Dozens and dozens and dozens of police officers, multiple jurisdictions from around the county. This is Montgomery County, multiple jurisdictions are here. We saw the park rangers here, Kettering Police, Huber Heights, of course Dayton. We saw the county sheriff. So what we heard just a little bit ago when we arrived on scene a few minutes ago was that a suspect was still at large. They described him, and again, these are not confirmed reports by police. I want to stress that. These are not confirmed reports by police. This is what we were overhearing on the police radio as we were coming into the scene. And we heard that the gunman was a heavyset male, wearing a mask, carrying a rifle with multiple magazines for the rifle that he was carrying purportedly. And that was about almost an hour ago now that we heard that come over the radio. We do not know the status of him. We do know that when we arrived on the scene, they were still dispatching officers in the area to look for somebody matching that description. But no word right now if that shooter is down, if he's in custody, if there's more than one shooter. Police are still doing their investigation right now, and understandably so. They're not going to be talking to the media immediately. Typically what we will do in the news, ladies and gentlemen, is we will talk to eyewitnesses in the area, but this is such a sensitive scene right now. It's still very active, that the eyewitnesses are still in a line waiting to be interviewed by police in a parking lot just on the other side of this tape. It's a little hard to see because all the police lights, but they're still being interviewed by police. And as a result, we cannot interfere with that. We cannot go talk to these people to see if they have seen or heard anything or what they might have witnessed, because the police themselves still has not had a chance to talk to these people. We just saw another ambulance pull up just a few minutes ago right there. They just got back from transporting someone to the hospital. And they're going to go over there and stage with the rest of the medics and firefighters just on the other side of those two police officers. Of course, this is, you see here, one person, you see a police officer carrying a rifle. What you're looking at right now is 3 police officers walking him in. He is not in handcuffs. But they do have a rifle, and they are walking him into the scene right now. All right, we're gonna try and talk to some folks that are not being interviewed by police, and see if they're willing to talk to us. These are live pictures, ladies and gentlemen, so it's going to be anyone's guess how emotional these people are going to be. It's a very sensitive scene right now. See, people are still being interviewed by police right now. That person has an apron on, so they were presumably an employee from a nearby club. It's a very emotional scene out here. People are vividly shaken and upset. You can see a woman there being consoled by a man. She's upset. She's shaking. She's crying. Just on the other side here. Okay, you can see at this time. See, I don't know if we can get any closer. At this time, you have eyewitnesses that are being busted. It's just on the other side here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move a little closer here so you guys can get a better look on the other side of these bushes. But what you have is you've got police have brought in a public transit bus to load up eyewitnesses and to take them and interview them. Right there's that bus. They've also opened up this restaurant here, and they've got witnesses inside this restaurant here at the Dublin Pub. We're going to try and find some people to chat with, to interview, but it's a very active scene. It's very difficult. We can see the FBI is out here at this time. We're going to get repositioned over here, and then we're going to zoom in so you guys can see that the FBI has arrived on the scene. Multiple FBI agents. Now, of these FBI vehicles that are pulling up, they're going to be out of the Cincinnati field office. That's where the FBI headquarters is located. They do have what they call a resident agency here in Dayton, but they are based out of Cincinnati, so the FBI is just now arriving. They have jackets on, of course, just like you see in the movies. It says FBI on the back. We're going to get those live pictures for you here. So the FBI has arrived to the mass shooting here in Dayton, Ohio, where multiple people have been reportedly shot. And so what you're going to see here is you're going to see them, and we're going to see here FBI, ladies and gentlemen. They're walking up to the scene. They've just arrived. We'll do a quick scene setter for you here. We're live in Dayton, Ohio at 5th and Wayne, where just after 1 o'clock, a report came in that there was an active shooter situation here in the Oregon District. Police, of course, came to the area. Initial reports came in that there were multiple shooters, that at least 10 people had been shot. CPR was in progress for at least 3 people. These are, of course, unconfirmed reports. I want to stress that, unconfirmed reports by police, because police are still actively involved in this investigation, and they're not able to talk to us. But those reports were what we heard on police radio. You can see multiple police officers still walking around with a rifle. Now, just before we arrived on scene here, we were hearing on the radio that police were looking for a heavyset white man wearing a mask. He was carrying a rifle with multiple magazines. When that came out over the radio, that was an indication it was a bolo. Be on the lookout, meaning that they had not apprehended that man. At this time, however, we do not know the status of that suspect. We know that when we spoke to local hospitals, they were telling me on the phone that they had multiple victims, stretching hospitals as far as 15 miles south of here, being brought in by ambulance, by private vehicle. Some of them were walking into the ER with blood rushing down their bodies and their clothes, hysterically upset, understandably so. So at least one person taken out personally here on the ambulance. The FBI has arrived on scene. I am getting messages that the ATF is also on their way out to this scene right now. You've got multiple local agencies here. You've got the local park rangers that were assisting Dayton police. You've got the county sheriff here. You've got Kettering Police, Huber Heights, multiple area fire departments. We see no less than 24 paramedics and firefighters out here. Your people's over there. Just walk around to the side. Yep. All right, multiple witnesses. Guys, can you tell us what you guys saw back there?